Welcome back to another episode of a very basic space program. Well, last time we set off one of our Discovery craft to Mars. We set another one, Discovery 5, off to Mercury, but it's going to go via the moon. So, yeah, that could be interesting. Please join me. Right, so you will see I'm in mission control right now. I'm just showing you that we've accepted our Mars mission because we should have a flyby and we have potential. Thank you very much, Jin. We have potential for to launch another craft just to make sure. So I'm pretty sure of that, and it gives us a little bit of money towards it and things like that, and it means I don't miss it. The one that I have not accepted is the Mercury flyby because we currently don't have a Mercury intercept, and thank you. And yeah, I'm going to hold off on a little bit. So what we're going to do is, thank you very much, we're going to come out of here. We're going to jump across to Discovery 5 and we're going to review what the situation is. We've got a bit of science we could spend. We can maybe do that later. Let's look at Discovery 5 and we'll figure out what's going to happen. Alright, so here we are. We can see that in about, 12 hours, we're going to go into the moon's sphere of influence. And I'm just going to remind you that, we don't need that one, that we have some scientific equipment on board. Let's go into here. That it is running, but we've disabled transmission primarily because we want to save electric charge. So we're just going to check. Yeah, we've got electric charge. Okay, now we do have signal. What I could do right now, because we have signal, is I could actually play around with our little maneuver nodes and things like that, and we could try and get back our encounter with Mercury. We didn't actually have a sphere of influence encounter. We had something close, and we lost it because we were playing around with it. So I could play around with the maneuver nodes to get that back. However, I'm actually wondering whether we should maybe try, because this could be quite fun. We've got 15. We could maybe try putting a maneuver around the moon, because we're going to go into the moon's sphere of influence. We can maybe just see what the delta V requirement for that is. I don't know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a play around with maneuver nodes right now, and then I'll come back. I don't think it's going to affect our moon encounter, but we'll see. So I will see you in but a moment. Right, so I've played around with the maneuver nodes there for probably about a minute or two. And the interesting thing I noticed, if I zoom out right now, you can see I've got this highlighted. I've right-clicked on the periaps there. When I was moving it around, I kept getting the close approach shifting to over here. There was a little graphical glitch, which was that this bit here, where it was showing the intercept, because it's so close to Mercury, wasn't actually showing up. It wasn't showing up on here. And I think we've got our patch conic, so the change in orbit was just not showing up. It was masking over on the underside of here. So it's so that was a bit of a weird one. So we actually got it a lot easier than I thought. It's going to be 100 meters per second. That's going to take us pretty close, actually. It's going to take us, where is our reading? I think I was aiming for, about 700 kilometers above the surface. We could potentially go closer, but I think that's close enough to Mercury. I don't know what's low science is and high science is for Mercury. We don't really care with this probe. This is just about getting nearby. So we're going to do that maneuver. It is in 30 minutes, so we're going to time warp to it. We'll do that maneuver, and what we've got to look for is that's going to affect anything here. Right, it is not. We're going to be okay for the moon. I think we're not going to get any sort of odd things. You do have to be careful about things like that, just in case. Right, so what we will do is we will focus view here, because that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be trying to get to this encounter. In fact, you know what, we could go like polar and grab just lots of polar. So that's an idea. We will potentially play around with this. So let's time up to where we need to get to, and then we're going to do this burn, and hopefully it'll bring us into sort of this nice interaction with Mercury. What I would really like is to fly by on the plane of Mercury, because then potentially it's going to pull us into future encounters, and we can get that, and that would be a bonus for us. Getting future encounters with craft is always a bonus. So we're going to put our RCS on now. There we go, do that, and that's going to start playing around with this a little bit. You see that the RCS has even just triggered this a little bit to do stuff, and there we go. Pull that back. There we are. Right, and we can do a little. How long is that burn? 44 seconds. So we know when the burn's going to have to start. We can ramp towards it nicely, with the hope of actually completing it, which would be good, wouldn't it? So hopefully, here we go, slowing down a bit. Hopefully, in this flight, we're gonna get this path to Mercury sorted, and it's going to be in about 100 days. So it's going to actually get there before Mars, not before our next Mars window, though, which is interesting. So that's a potential. We may end up with another launch of this episode going to Mars, and then we may have an episode of encounters after that. Actually, we may have the Mars and the Mercury encounter potentially in the same episode, which would be an interesting one. Actually, I would like to do some stuff around with aero braking and stuff around Mercury, but not aero braking. Sorry, gravity assists and slowing down using gravity assists. Oh, there we go. There we are. We are there. So we're just going to keep our mind on this. The target there was 50. Oh, that's interesting. That's not where I originally planned it. Oh, because we've moved some stuff, haven't we? Right. So this is going to come in like so. And we're going to do this just for a little bit. Get a little bit of burning going on. Get that running in there. I don't know how close we want to get. Interestingly, since we've time warped, we have actually changed the altitude of all this stuff. So I'm going to stop that. I'm not a big fan of what's happening with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on stability, and then we're going to, let's see. Right, we'll do a bit of side shifting, a bit of that one and that one. We're going to just shift the craft sideways, I think. Yeah, no, that way. We're going to use a bit of translation. There we go. I'm going to translate it towards Mercury a little bit. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, but we're just going to do this instead of reorientating the craft, because reorientating the craft can throw us off quite a bit, actually. There we go. Just keep going. Just going to keep thrusting. There's a bit of twist in the craft because it's not perfectly balanced, obviously. And we want to just let it rebalance itself. Go again. Ideally, we want to maybe do a little bit of this. Pull it back a bit. That's how we're doing a bit of forward thrust on the engines, just to do that. And if I actually click through here, you can see we're doing that. So we're basically using our RCS now to do this. If I was really clever, I'd have put another set of RCS up here, which would give us a nice balanced craft, but we don't have that. So when I do the translation sort of sideways, we do get a bit of torque in, which is why we get, you see, we're not perfectly aligned to things. I would really love to get this nice and close. I suppose we could. There we go. Get a bit more of that in. Yeah, you know what? I don't mind getting really close to this. This would be really good. I could actually fire the main engine right now. In fact, you will. There we go. Turn that off, and then we'll do a bit more translating with it, because that forward thrust needs quite a bit. Oh, there we go. Right, that's nice. I want a little bit more forward. There we go. Just a little bit more, and we're going to get this really close, actually. Yeah, let's go reasonably close. We're going to go past the moon as well, so we're going to have data for days off this vessel potentially. Because remember, although we're going past the moon, we've already had things near the moon. These are new experiments. We've got a brand new set of experiments on this. This is going to be polar. Now, I think this is going to kick it out of, pretty much out of the sphere of influence of Mercury. I don't think we'll ever get another encounter with it because of the high angle that it's going to end up at, which is, let's have a look. I don't know, actually. I can't tell. I suppose our patch conics probably run out at that point. Because if it was going past the moon, we've got a patch conics issue. So I wonder if we could just... Oh, that is awfully, that's awfully close, isn't it? Oh, you know what? I like that. I like that. Within 300 kilometers of the surface, we're going to get some beautiful shots there. Little flyby. And of course, because we're on the pole like that, we should have signal back to Earth. Wonderful. Right. So I'm going to turn off everything. So it's just going to sit in space now. Now, no doubt it'll change, and we'll have to redo stuff for there. We have used a bit of our electric charge while doing that because we weren't in hibernation, which is a problem. So we're going to just speed on through. We have used our electric charge because we're doing collection of data. Right. So what we want to do is we want to shut these down now. Shut these all down. Because we need to get electric charge up, because we want to, let's bring this up, we want to have as much electric charge as possible, because we want all of our science equipment running as it goes through the moon sphere of influence. So if we come back out of this, what we're going to be doing is, when we're flying into the moon sphere of influence, we're going to spend a little bit of time there, and then we've got all this time here where we can do more science around around Earth. We're currently in high space because we're above geostationary, so we're getting science that we wouldn't normally have got. So now we're actually going to be, we want to get out here, and then we'll turn it back on. So we're basically going to store up our electricity right now. So we're going to warp forward just a smidgen to this alarm here, which is going to take us into the moon sphere influence. Then we're going to get high science around the moon, which will be really nice. Right, let's go. Now, most of these experiments should run pretty quickly. We've got full charge of electricity now. That's good. It's going to tell us we're there. Wonderful. Right, we're going to fast forward this just a smidgen into the sphere of influence. We get a little jump. There we go. Right, we're going to pop into here, and we're going to activate absolutely everything. Get it all going. What have we got that we can run? We have quite a few experiments, so we're not going to be running temperature. Okay. I'm going to leave that on waiting though. It does use I think it uses a little bit of electricity while it's doing that. And what we'll do is we're actually going to store this data. So if we look in here, you can see we have a lot of data building up now. We've got, you know, big chunks of data building up, and we're not transmitting because we don't need to, actually. We've got vessel complete, don't need to worry about that. We don't need to transmit our data right now. Where is the moon? There's the Earth. The moon should be around here somewhere. Oh, there's the moon, right. So we're just going to speed this on through. We're going to watch, our electricity is going to drain down, because we just don't have the production to actually run all of this equipment at full attack all the time. And we'll do the same thing when we go past Mercury. We'll actually be shutting down. I mean, ironically, we should have actually sent a craft with solar panels around Mercury, but we didn't. We could have even augmented this with solar panels. But what we'll do is, as we go past Mercury, we'll shut down everything apart from the experiments. We'll shut down transmission, we'll shut down absolutely everything, and the experiments will just run. This is going to have about 100 days to transmit data back once we get into interplanetary space, so I'm not too worried about that. We'll come back, you know, maybe a day before, check that it's all set up ready, and then we're ready to go. I'm actually even tempted just to keep its transmitter shut down. My concern being that as we get degradation of these things, the half-life's about 40 years though, so it shouldn't be a big problem. We might end up with a lack of things. So there you go. We've got a little bit of a skip there. We've got a big chunk of science coming in, well, potentially coming in, and then we're going to jump back out towards the Earth sphere influence. There we go. So this is going to do that again. We're going to close that, and we can pop out here, and you can see we've got another 14 minutes. And if we look in our thing here, you can look at all this stuff we've got now. We've got moon, high, moon, space high, all this stuff. There's not much credit worth in there. It doesn't say, but it all adds up. It all adds up. These things, you know, infrared radiometry and stuff. What is that? That's Midlands, major craters. We're all getting little bits more of data just going up as much as we can, because they will add up over time. You know, those big blocks of data will add to, well, it's only going to take, it's two data required and two data required, yeah. They'll all add up in the end to everything. Oh, then actually, are we getting zero because we're getting zero because we haven't actually transmitted it yet? That's why. Right. So we'll see what we actually get from that. I don't know if we will get any science from that. It'd be interesting to see what the science jump is going to be for us. There we go. And we're back into Kerbal Earth sphere of influence now. So we're going to be getting more data from there as well. So we're going to start gathering different data. And again, we need to be keeping our eye just on the charge that we've got. And this thing's going to be going, we've got about 20 hours until we leave this sphere of influence again, and then we'll be in interplanetary. And interplanetary, we will be basically trying to catch up with the Mars craft, which has been doing some science on its way. So there'll be less acquisition of science at that point. There we go. We've got some stuff back from Earth Low. That's from one of the test ones, I believe, because the test craft of this was probably doing that. So we're getting that data coming up. So it's probably just sucking up the data there. So there you go. We're now at a point where we're running out of battery. What we want to do before that, though, before we do run out of the battery, is we want to have a look and see, have we actually altered our route to Mercury at all? That's going to be the important one for us. So focused view, what's my approach looking like? Have we had any jumps in it at all? We're coming over the pole there. We're still pretty good. That's okay, not bad. Let's just accelerate our. Oh, we're in a little bit of a loop where I cannot use this thing at the top here, which is interesting. So as you get this, it will not let you press, or it won't let you use the keys. And I don't know if it's an RP-1 thing or just a Kerbal thing. I haven't noticed it too much in stock, but I think somebody actually mentioned in one of my previous playthroughs, why is that happening? What I am going to do, we're actually out of power now. That's interesting. So we're going to be jumping in and out now. What I can do is go to the craft, and we can actually, we could turn that off. I don't really want to. What we could do is shut down some of these experiments completely. We don't need to, but we could just shut them down like so, just to get a bit of power back in, and then we could actually make sure that we're en route and everything's good. So we're going to stop those, and let's see, will that give us a bit of power back? Oh, and I'm still not able to press the thingy controls. There we go, we're getting a bit of power back. So what I would actually do with that is I would now come into here, and I go to here, and we'd actually go this one here. I'd turn off battery and supply. We don't need to worry about that. We know that battery is going to be an issue for this craft. Could have included more batteries for this, potentially. If we were planning on this mission from the start of the build, potentially would have put more batteries on board just to allow us to stock up on that electricity. But it doesn't really matter. We're getting plenty of stuff coming in now. What we got? Data. Where are we? Auto. Here we are. So we've got these are running, and we can just we can keep going with that. So we'll just run these as long as possible. So we've got what? That's going to be 80 days. That's going to be 80 days. That's going to be 4 days. So that's going to finish soon. We've got the mass spec. You know what? I'm actually going to shut these down. The reason being, we can do it after we've been to Mercury, okay? We can do all of this after we've been to Mercury. We're not in a mass hurry. Is there anything that I really want to get? Oh no, we're actually Earth space high, so let's do as much as we can right now. That's done, that has not done. Yeah, we might as well just let them run these things and do that as well. Primarily because we are still in Earth high. What we'll do is when we get out of Earth high, we will we'll stop them. Interplanetary space we should be okay with. I think the Mars mission ahead of us should have actually done a lot of that for us, a lot of the heavy lifting, and then we should see our next encounter, which would be Mercury there. So there we go. Okay, get rid of that, move on, and then we're going to just speed our way through there. I should be really careful, but not. Right, so our next encounter is going to be with Mercury in 109 days. We are now out of electricity. It will be interesting to see. Let's have a look. What sort of data usage have we got going on right now? So that thing is 80 odd days. We're gonna turn that off. We're gonna turn that off. We're gonna turn that off. So those are all now stopped, and we can just see. Do we get some? Yeah, we get some power back. We could potentially. There we go. As soon as we're actually, idling the core, we're okay. Are we building stuff up? Yeah, we are. So what I want to do is we're going to run the mass spec, because that's 80 days. That's only going to be a few days. That's another 20 days, and then that runs out. And I think the cosmic ray is the one that I want as well. And the mass spec, this one is big as well, so we'll do that. Okay, and that's going to eat our battery, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to eat our battery, so we're going to stop that one. We're going to stop that one. We'll just run a couple of these just to build them up a little bit, because they are big data ones. And there we go. So next thing, I think that's this bit of the mission underway. We've got those two marked off. I think we need to go and have a look back at base and see what we're going to spend our science on. So let's go back to base. Okay, so before I say anything, well, before we continue, I want to say the following. I've gone on and I've looked at Discovery 4, and I've actually shut down its transmitter and some of its science as well, because we want it to have maximum electric charge when it goes past Mars, because we want to grab as much information as possible there. What it will have to do is, what we'll have to do with it and with Mercury, is we'll actually shut down the potential transmission of any of the data from before we get to the actual the destination. Shut that down so that we can force it to transmit data from the sphere of influence of either Mercury or Mars, primarily because of the way the missions are written. And I sometimes get a problem. Thank you very much, Jane. I sometimes get a problem, which is, if you read it here, you got to transmit science data back from space near Mercury. Okay, so we need to actually wait until we're near Mercury, and then we need to basically dump science, as transmit science as quick as possible. I think they may have fixed this, but in the past, if you actually transmitted it once you were not near Mercury, you had a problem. Even though it was near Mercury science, you didn't get it. Now we're actually going to take this because we've got that mission en route. So now we've got two missions done, 2 missions allocated. We've got space for another 3 because I haven't upgraded the mission control yet. I think we're going to send something Venus-y, but we're not going to go for orbit. I don't have a craft for that yet. Which then leaves us with things like first crewed lunar orbit, crewed lunar flyby. Lunar landing we could go for, but I really want to send something bigger. I really want to send like a rover or something. And then we have the 1 crew and the 2 crew with maneuvers. 2 crew maneuvers I am going to hold off until we get better fuels. Because I want to actually upgrade that Janus craft, and that one is becoming a bit boring for us, so we'll probably leave that. I might do it in the background while we're not doing it. So then we have to look at things like Vesta Ceres and Jupiter. Now for Jupiter, we do not have the Delta V for that. Delta V for Jupiter is it's a bit more. We're looking at, for Jupiter, probably around about 6 to 7, probably 7,000 healthily to get ourselves a Jupiter encounter. We can't put that up at the moment, so we need to maybe think of either building something bigger, multi-stage rocket, things like that. The other thing is, if you get to Jupiter, the amount of Delta V required to actually capture at Jupiter, even into a highly elliptical orbit, is actually quite low because it's such a heavy planet. So it may be worth us actually looking at building something that can capture. We also need to have something that can communicate. I'm not sure we have the range just yet for for Jupiter, but we'll have a look. I am actually a little bit concerned that we may not have the range for Mercury, but it depends where it is on the route. Right, we have one more upgrade point. We're going to put that into R&D, get that moving up again. And then we're going to look at our R&D and go, right, what are we doing? What we're spending money on? What we're spending time on? We've got the life support underway. We've got orbital rocketry is underway. We have early landing is about to finish actually, and that gives us not much. It gives us bigger heat shields. Gives us the Gemini heat shields. That finishes the Janus situation off. I think, does it also give us, where do we get our RCS from? Is that in early docking? I think early docking gives us the range of RCSs. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go for early docking. That's important. That will give us, do we get the small docking port? We get the Agena type target vehicles. We get the small propellant only docking port, which is fine. We could rush straight to the Apollo style docking ports and all that. We could equally push along with our panels and things like that. So that's static 3, but then to get the actual level 2 tech, you've got to get to here. Now is it static 3 is level 2 solar panel, yeah. So we'd have to get up to there, which would involve us going up here and getting this, which would then potentially open up better snaps and a nuclear reactor. Interesting. So that's tempting. I really think that our rocket engine tech is behind. So we're going to go, let's see, we're going to go for 37, and then we're going to go for U as well. So that now gives us, oh, I didn't want to do that actually. I want to go down here. You know what, I'm going to show you something you can do. So I got 2 techs there I didn't want. I don't actually want to go that route yet. So can I actually get rid of them? Let's have a look. Yeah, we can. We can get rid of that, and we can get rid of that. I was looking at the wrong part of the thing. So you can see there we've got early landing coming up. So let's try that again. I want to go here, and then I want to go here, which I'm slightly short of, so that's the next one we're going to go. That's going to give us those launch engines that I really want. Then I think we're potentially going to look at, oh, now that's an interesting engine, isn't it? That is a very interesting, I've never used the LR87 Hydrolox engine. That would be potentially, I think it was just a theoretical one, wasn't it? Yeah. That would be potentially nice. It also, in that point there, gives us the RL10 upgrade, which is I think it's a less likely to fail one. So that would be potential. I don't really feel the need to go into here at the moment. It gives us the upgrades, but I don't really need them. The E1 is an engine that interests me, but then there's not really an upgrade path from it, because I think, is there an upgrade in here? I don't think there is. I think there might be an E1 upgrade. In fact, the easiest way to do it is to click on it and actually have a look if there are any other configs. Yeah, there are. So there's upgrade. It doesn't say when those come in, but do they do lots for it? Improve the ISP a little bit. It increases the mass a little bit. Good vector range. 4 hours. I could use the H1s. In reality, that's 600. How much is a H1 engine going to cost me? 250. So 2 H1s are actually technically cheaper. So I'd be better off getting a H1 or 2 H1s. Although I do have the risk of one of them going, but if we position them right, they can always, gimbal, counter gimbal, all that sort of stuff. Right. So I think we're just going to save up for this, so we can build basically a Russian first stage of storable stuff. That's a really high gimbal range on it. Oh, because it's the different bits, isn't it? Yeah, okay. High gimbal range on the side bits, right? Okay, so next task. I think we've been basically waiting around for these. So what I will do is I will put up the next Mars mission. We may set that off. I may show you that on the camera, or I might just set it off and not bother, because you've already seen us do one of those. So I'm going to launch that. It's going to be one of the Discovery craft. What we could do while we're here, let's do this. Let's while you're with me, let's do this. We're going to try and have a look at. We're going from Earth. We're going to go to Venus. And I'd really like you to find me when the nearest one is. Right, what's this? Whoa, that's a lot of delta V. Why is that so much delta V? Have I got something clicked? No insertion burn. Doof. There we go. Plot that. That's better. There we go. So there we go. We're at 300 or whatever. I want to zoom in. Give me a zoom in. You can't really zoom in on this, can you? So we'd like to go quickly, get it done. So anywhere down here would actually be, potentially anywhere like here would be good. And we can just force it. And that would take 110 days. We can send one of these to Venus, 110 days, gather the science, do stuff, wonderful. So we will do that. Let's put that in there. And we're going to add to the alarm. So that's going to be in 190 days. Is there anything sooner that we can actually set off? I mean, this thing would be what, 100 days sooner? Let's have a look. Yeah, it would be 100 days sooner, but it's actually going to take another 50 days to get there. That one's going to be a lot quicker. So let's add that to the alarm clock. So we've got this one, which will take. We've got arrival time. You can actually see departure, travel, arrival. The 2nd of November 67. This one. Arrival time is 14th to 10th. So this one actually gets there quicker, even though it sets off later. So there's no point in us doing that. We might as well set off down here and just go for a quick arrival. We can do that. We can do a nice quick arrival burn to get there. And I can probably manually fiddle that to get it to work. Right. Let us have a look. Is there anything else we want to do? I don't think so. So I'm going to launch the next Mars mission because we want to send 2 there. I don't think we have a good Mercury window coming up at all. Plot it. We are actually on a Mercury window, but we don't have anything to launch. So I don't think we have anything to launch. No, we don't. So that's not going to happen. Our next Mercury window is, when's that? Departure 67. That's still not a great one. So we're going to be a while. It's going to be a while before we actually get to another good Mercury window. That was a very nice one. I'm glad that we grabbed it. The next Mercury window, we'll just have to keep an eye. It might be over here. It might be in a couple of years. So that's that. Jupiter is what we wanted to really check, didn't we? So Jupiter, plot it. Okay, we got a Jupiter one. That's a really nice one. That one we will actually add. So that's in 2 years. That is a potentially a good one. And there is something down there that is really quick, actually. That is potentially, what we'll do is we're actually going to add a year on, and then we're going to plot it. Right, what's this down here? This is really a lot quicker. If we get enough to send something like there, that would be nice. So we're gonna put that there. We're gonna add that to the alarm. So let's have a look at the time difference. So this one sets off 10 days later. It would arrive in 72. This one would arrive in 70. And this standard one here, which we've already marked off on, is going to arrive in 71. So potentially this one is going to be 2 years quicker than the later one, which is interesting. But the delta V requirement, let's have a look. Delta V ejection is 778, and this one is, so there's a range there of options, and this one is a low, oh actually this one is a low delta V option in a year's time. So I think we need to be looking at potentially putting 6,500 meters per second into orbit to actually do that. We also need to get the comms for that. So yeah, this is the sort of long-term planning that you don't normally see, do you? So actually, let's have a look. Can we actually get our signal out to Jupiter? Let's have a look at our probe, because you don't need to see me launching another craft. I may actually not send another craft to Mars. I might just pocket it and send it to Venus, looking at the timings. In fact, I don't think we have a craft for that Mars window. I don't even know why I'm talking about it. It's 60 days. We have, I think, more than 60 days on the build time. I'll check that when we come out. Right, just checking on our build list, I've actually realised that we will not be doing this Earth-Mars transit because we do not have a craft ready. I thought we had one ready, but we obviously do not. So that's actually going to go in the bin straight away. So then the next potential window is the Venus one, and we could send a couple of these out there then. We've got a one-shotter. I didn't realise we were going one-shot on Mars. It's because we had that failure, isn't it? We had that the Discovery 3 failure. The Discovery 3 failure has actually resulted in me not realising that I have only got one craft going to Mars. So we're going to prep these. I'm going to look at the next Mars window, which should be in time for a backup, and we may send a backup craft there. So we've got a couple to Venus, one to Mars. We could actually modify these to not have radioactive components on them. I don't see a need to change them though. I think they're a nice little vessel. So we'll get rid of that actually, and we can get rid of the alarm clock for right now. But what we were going to look at was, I wanted to really look at, see what can we actually do regarding signal to, let's go to the planner, signal to Jupiter. So Jupiter, there we go, and we're going to be targeting U, I think. Are U the correct station? No, I want Madrid. Jupiter, we get nothing. What if I increase my tech level? Oh, I get something with the next level up. Okay, but I may not have the power for that. Okay, in fact, can we drop this a bit? Right, so that's going to be it at best. That's it at best. So we can do it at that power. We can do it with an upgrade of that. We can do that now. That should give us signal to Jupiter. Maximum distance, yeah, minimum distance, good. We have a signal. Okay, so we know that this version of the craft will actually do that, which is nice. That's actually a really nice piece of information to have. So we could actually prep this. So I'm actually going to save this as, what's our build list? So that's Discovery 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, this is going to be Discovery 9, isn't it? Okay, Discovery 9. Discovery 9, we're going to save that because we know that now with that upgrade is better, but we need to check our electric charge. So if I put this into, let's see, where's my hibernate? Hibernate. Where is my avionics control? Avionics, shut down avionics. Okay, so the avionics is taking a big chunk of our stuff. I wonder if we can save on the avionics. That would be really nice. Can we get better avionics? Let's have a look. Well, we can. We could actually spend an awful lot. We're on basic. I didn't even realize I'd put it on basic avionics. Oh, you're kidding me. Right. So potentially 50, you know what, we're just going to spend that. Purchase mature avionics. Boom. What's that done to us? This thing is almost able to run with its avionics on now. Wow, that's an upgrade. So that's a nice little upgrade for us. Shut down the avionics and we get loads of power. Wonderful. Okay, so the avionics now is improved. What's this actually giving us? We've got a whole chunk more stuff going on there. So I think... Let's have a look. Can I do... I can't do anything. We're going to look at tech and we're going to potentially... I want to actually maybe change the fuels in this. If we can change the fuels in this to be bipropellants, this becomes a lot more usable, much more capable. And I'll have to have a think about how much delta V you need to capture. We may want to make this a little bit bigger. So we're going to save this. This is going to be a build for us. We're going to develop this. We're going to have those building while we're doing that. So tech-wise, what do I want? I want to get bipropellants, and I want to get engines of bipropellants. I don't need to worry about. Let's see. I want to go down here, don't I? I want to get to docking. That's going to be the key for us, but that's going to take a long effort. The alternative is that once this landing's out of the way, and we could pause that actually because we're not going to be using it just yet, we could push on and try and just get the bigger launch engines. Alternatively, we do some maybe upgrading. What does this do? This upgrades that config for this, isn't it? Yeah, this upgrades the next config. So this config would be the, let's have a look. This is the 11D33. So let's have a look at this. What are we on? So we're on the 338, the 11D338. Okay, it gets better ISP. Does it get more thrust? 65. It gets a little more thrust. What's its usage? What is its usage? So this is going to run for rated burn time 250. And this one's got a rated burn time of 270, and it's less likely to fail, which is wonderful. That's not going to be enough, though. That's not going to be enough to send us to Jupiter. So potentially we would have to put another stage on it, which would mean we would have to build another rocket, which is going to mean I'm going to want that. So yeah, unless we got to this and it really ramped up, we really went for a bigger probe on the top, but then you're basically stealing from one side to get to the other. Yeah, there's a debate there, isn't there? I think we will see. We've got a bit of time, so let's have a look at the tech. So we know we want to get to, thank you, get off that. There we go. We want to get to docking, ideally. We want to get to stage combustion. Those have to go through 1, 2. Stability could go up. Let's move stability up, because you know what, life support's no use without us actually having the ability to do stuff on orbit. Right, so stability can go up. That's going to be 13 days. You know what, get that out of the way. So that's going to go up. I really want to send something to Jupiter by that window. It's going to take 150 days to build something, I think. We could potentially just put some of our first stages beside each other. However, they're all lighting on the ground, aren't they? So that wouldn't work. We could change the core engines over for something that would be a slower burn. That's a possibility, actually. And have them light on the ground. The LR105s potentially, have them burn longer, give us more punch up into there, and then change the upper stage out for something a bit more punchy. I don't know. It's that upper stage. I should really have gone Hydrolox. In fact, you know what? I think we have to. I think we have to go Hydrolox for this. So we'll put that back. I think we put that back. I think we go hydrolocks. I think I have to invest. I have to invest in hydrolocks. So I think we're going to try and use the really bad efficiency, probably going to break down RL10 because it's the wrong config, but at least it gets us some experience with it. And I think if we don't try, we don't learn. So go back to tech. So I want to get the hydrolocks up as high as possible. How can we get it up? All right, so that needs to move up, hydrolocks needs to move up, that needs to move up, hydrolocks needs to move up, that needs to move up, hydrolocks. So that's going to take us 150 days. And then that gives us a hydrolocks, potentially a hydrolocks upper stage, okay? And I'll have to figure out a rocket underneath it, potentially using our current first stage with sub-augmentation, possibly. We'll see. That is going to be king. I think first generation hydrolocks have relight, do they? Do you have relight? You have 10 relights, so I could actually use a hydrolocks. I could use a double set of hydrolocks. That's a lot of RL10s to play around with. Okay, so I think what we're going to do now is we're just going to speed on through to our Mercury encounter. I think, yeah, let's just run through to our Mercury encounter. These can be building, and I will see you when we start to encounter Mercury for the end of this episode. Right, here we are. We've run the clock forward. You can see that the alarm has gone off for the Mercury mission. I can actually get rid of that now. We will probably get an alarm for departing Sphere of Influence when we get to there, but we're not actually in the Sphere of Influence yet. We've come back a little early just so we can check that everything is set properly. So we're going to have a look. We've got no warnings. Right, data. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're actually going to stop all of these things. We don't want to delete the file. We want to hold them. We're going to stop all of these files that have basically got data. We don't want any of these to transmit yet. We don't care about them. Okay, they're all for Earth, Sun, Moon, all that sort of stuff. We're also going to just stop this as well. We want to make sure we've got full battery when we get into that sphere of influence. You can see we've still got signal, which is good, so we can actually do some transmitting if we wanted to, but we're not really in a need to do it. So as soon as we jump across into the sphere of influence, we're going to start thinking about grabbing some science. There we go. Right, jumping. There we are. Right, mission is on. Right, so we're going to fire everything up. Okay. There we go. Everything should be coming online. This here is the magnetic scanner. It should unfurl itself. There we go. It's up. There we are. Perfect. Now, what are we doing? We've got battery is draining. We can shut down our avionics because I actually am not going to need the avionics ever again at the moment. So where's my avionics? Shut that down. Wonderful. What's that doing for battery? We have got a decent amount of battery. So what we will do is we're going to go as long as we can without that battery kicking off. We've got, let's have a look. Time to periapse about 1 hour. So that battery is going to last an hour, is it? I hope it's going to last an hour. We'll have a look. Coming in, let's have a look. Yeah, we should be potentially okay. It's going to take us, well, no, we're going to be close. We may have to shut down some equipment just so we get science when we're near Mercury, because this near Mercury pass is actually going to be beautiful for us. We're going to be about 320 kilometers above Mercury when we go past it, which is superb. We get some near Mercury science, and I believe that is Mercury there, isn't it? Yeah, I hope so. Otherwise it's some odd planetary body just sitting around in the middle of nowhere. Again, we don't have our transmitter on. What we're going to do is as soon as we get into low Mercury, we start collecting some science. We're going to gather as much of that science as we can, and we're going to start transmitting it back. So we can actually have a look. Where's our missions? Let's have a go. Here we are. So Mercury flyby. So we're now within the range we need to be. So we can have a look and see what science have we got. Right, we're running, waiting. We're in space high. These have all done already. So what we want is we actually want like a pressure scan. Go to the data. We're going to stop all of these transmitting because we don't want these transmit. We want the near science. Right, are we going to get near science actually? That's a good point. I have not actually thought about this. So let's see. We're going in. Right, we're going to get reasonably close. Coming into Mercury. There we go. Right, we're getting really nice and close now. Are we actually near Mercury yet? What is this going to be considered? It's not going to tell me on there. That's terrible. Are we near Mercury? Right, we're now running experiments. Okay. So we're going to go to our data, and I want to stop everything apart from, oh, there we go. We're going to stop everything from doing things apart from that. We're actually going to jump down to there. We're going to go as near as Mercury as we can. I want something nice and easy to transmit: telemetry. We're going to transmit telemetry because telemetry is king. Have we got any of this done? Right, it is running. It's got about 6 minutes left on it. This one has 6 minutes. Telemetry. What's telemetry doing? It's got 1 minute. So we will transmit the telemetry is what we will actually do. And that will complete the mission basically for us. We should be able to do that. All right, here we go. No signal right now. Oh, we're behind the planet, aren't we? Or have we lost? No, we've gone behind the planet. Okay. Oh, this is going to be annoying. So I think as long as we're in the sphere of influence, we're okay. Right, so telemetry we can actually shut down. We don't need telemetry anymore. Data, come on. We are gathering data all this time. Put that over there. Gathering data all this time. That's beautiful. That's a lovely picture actually. We just there you go. Little beauty shot for you of our craft coming over Mercury there. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's pointing somewhere. I don't think it's pointing the right way. Let's be entirely honest. I think Earth's probably over there somewhere, but it's looking good. It's looking good. I would love it if, you know, if I was really going for the beauty shots, I would actually spin the whole thing around, but I'm not going for the beauty shots. Right. Is Mercury blocking our view? It is. Mercury is blocking the view. Oh, come on. Right, so we're gonna have to warp up a bit until we get signal. There we go, we've got signal. Right, now we're gonna try and transmit. Where are we? Data. Oh, it's at the top of the data line, is it? No, it's on this one. It's on info. No, it's not. It's on auto. There we are. Now I'm gonna transmit. There we go. Telemetry analysis sent. We have completed that contract. Wonderful. Now, next step, turn that off again, because we don't want to be transmitting data just yet. We're going to get as much data coming in as possible. So we're going to watch this. We should be getting data just pouring in until our batteries die. There we go. We've got data coming in still. You can see there's lots and lots of credits of data there. There's lots of random stuff actually. And what we'll do is as soon as we get out of Mercury sphere of influence, I will be putting on the transmitter and we'll just let this thing basically run its batteries to dead. We've got plenty of battery left actually. That's really good. This encounter was very quick and dirty, but we've got the science. We've got some stuff that's good for us. That's wonderful. So now this thing's going to go out into interplanetary space, and if I was really clever, I would have done some sort of maneuvers while we're around Mercury to really maximize the use of any delta V we had left. But I don't expect this thing to basically be coming back to Mercury. I don't think, because of its approach path, I think it's going to be kicked up out of the plane of Mercury, but we'll see. We may come back and have a look at it. So there we go. It is now done. And what we can do is we can just start transmitting absolutely everything. We're going to go through there. So as I continue to prep the transmission, I'm going to turn on the data transmission rate. As I do all this, from me, until next time, have a great one.